Shaw, and we are back. This is News and Events with Caleb Shaw, where we bring in different guests in the community, highlight different organizations, different events. You got something cool you want to get out, give me a call, shoot me a message, and we'll get you in here. Before I get to our amazing, wonderful guests, I want to highlight a few things very quickly. Operation Piglet is still running. I know it says until December 4th on here, but we're going to keep it going because we've had such a great turnout. Toya and her organization, one of her organizations, will be one of the benefactors of this. But basically, you can come here, you can go, we've got about 10 different locations. Ask me where. We need pet supplies, we need dog houses, we need leashes, we need beds, we need cleaning supplies. What are some other dogs? I know you know this better than anybody. What's some other dog, before we even introduce you, give me some more dog material here.
Tarps.
Tarps, that's a good one. Cleaning gloves, hay. If you think an animal could use it, it probably could. Get it in one of our boxes at one of our many drop locations from some of the amazing businesses in town that wanted to help us out. Please, please, please donate because the animals need it, the rescue groups need it, the shelters need it, and we need it to help them. So Operation Piglet, don't waste time. Next, holiday open house. This is Crossroads Title at Greeks 207, Wednesday, December 4th from 5 to 8. The folks at Crossroads Title, they do a great job of helping move property from one owner to another in Victoria. They're great people and they want to share their holiday open house with you. Crossroads Title, Wednesday, December 4th, 5 to 8 at Greeks 207, and that's at 207 East Constitution downtown. And last one before we really get going is I want to highlight Santa's Workshop. This is 7 December, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Peaches and Tortilla. Probably one of the coolest names I've ever heard for a business. Peaches and Tortillas, that's pretty cool. Or Peaches and Tortillas, sorry. 503 West State, and that is 7 December, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And I'm just gonna read real quick. This is a fun event for kids. They've got activities include gingerbread cookie decorating, ornament making, write a letter to Santa and get a reply, make your own reindeer food, bracelet making, hot chocolate, etc., pony rides, professional photos with Santa, with or without your kids, that's pretty good. And all proceeds go to Trinity Episcopal School. So this is a great deal. Santa's Workshop supports Trinity Duo, Molly and Shanna, 7 December, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Now, I can slow down a minute and I can introduce my friend here. Miss Toya Stone I'm very blessed to know her. She is a rock star in this community, and if you haven't met her, if you haven't gotten to know her yet, you're really missing out. It's probably her fault I have so many dogs. Not really, I have a heart for dogs, but she's one of the amazing rescue people here in town that just goes so far and so above to give back and to help animals, to help us help animals. We help each other, all this kind of things. And you're here to help more people by sharing some knowledge and some info on an event coming up. And I will let you get, well, first off, Ms. Toya Stone. Yes. Welcome to our little news and events here. Before we get going on this great event, do you have anything you want to touch on as far as, you know, I know we hit Operation Piglet real fast, and you're a member of, you're all over the different place, but why don't you tell a little bit about yourself before we get going real fast?
Okay, well, my name is Toya Stone, and I was with WAG's Hope and Healing, which there have probably been several people that might have heard of that rescue. But as of 2020, it's actually being passed on to a new executive director.
That's a big deal.
So, but I'm still going to be on the board, and I'm still going to have their tools and resources, and they're really set on outreach. So they come in, we do like vaccinations, spay and neuters. We just have some really cool ideas for 2020 coming up. Aside from that, I'm toying with the idea of maybe starting my own 501. I don't know yet. But right now...
Say it's about time, Miss Toya. It's about time. You definitely put in the work, and I know you spend a lot of money on helping others, and if there was a way for you to have a 501c3, I think it's about time, because you certainly do well and give back, so...
Well, we'll see. I'm kind of intimidated by it all, but I know I got good support here.
You got a whole army behind you. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So, but it's kind of on the side on my own. I've done this thing. It's called the Winter Dog Program, and so we're going to benefit greatly from Operation Piglet. So we go into Bloomington, and we just provide people with a dog house and whatever they need to make sure that their pet is nice and warm. my goal is to follow that up with a free spay and neuter and vetting services, and with our awesome partners, Lone Star Animal Hospital. So if you're looking for a vet, Lone Star Animal Hospital is definitely the place to go.
Absolutely.
And then quick shout out right now. I have a friend, her name is Caitlin Ingram, and she is actually starting her own 501. It's called South Tails Rescue.
Say that 3 times.
South Tails Run.
Tails Rescue. Okay.
I can't.
No, it's
but
not,
she's doing amazing.
South Tails Rescue?
Yes, South Tails Rescue. They
okay.
do have a Facebook. So she's kind of doing in Victoria what I'm doing in Bloomington.
Okay.
So she's kicking off a new fundraiser. It's called No More Chains. And she is wanting to build fences for chained dogs. So that's something New Victoria hasn't seen yet. So I'm behind that 100%. And hopefully we'll get to partner on that. I'm not quite sure yet.
Talk to me when that one comes up, because
Yeah.
I previously, some of my clients are former ag teachers or active ag teachers, and at one point we had talked about them, getting together the high school classes and stuff like that to let them build the stuff I like involving the community, and if we can, having students or adults whoever be part of the process of giving back, so they're kind of invested in it, and letting the people that benefit from it see these people as well, so they kind of know that there is a support structure out there for them and stuff.
Absolutely, and I think it raises awareness too. It helps people see a lot of areas that they may not have known that needed help or assistance in our community.
Because sadly, it's just an animal living on a chain. That's not the way to go. It's just not. And we're not here to judge, we're not here to condemn, and we're not any of those things, but we are here to help. And if if you're out there and you've got a dog on a leash because you can't fix your fence or need help, reach out, let us know. We don't show up pulling our glasses down to judge you. We're there to sincerely help and give back, and we want to see these animals enjoy the life they were meant to have, because I don't think there's better companions out there than dogs myself. And so if we can be a part of helping to free them and you're conscious on it, please let us know, and we'd have to. And like I said, no judgment. We just want to help. And you're also here, not only do you do pet rescues, you just help people all the way across the spectrum. And there was an event that you wanted to highlight on that's coming up here, and I'll shut up now and let you get to that one.
No, you're fine. So this is something different. I've never done something quite like this before, but so God really put divorce on my heart. Especially around the holiday seasons. It's very hard, especially when your family doesn't look like it might have been a year ago, even 1 month ago. So I got with Rachel Adame, who is the owner of Liberty Coffee Haus, and she is somebody that has walked through divorce and has a pretty incredible story of the way that God worked in her life. And I said, what if we just created a whole evening where we got to drink coffee and eat comfort food, and created a safe place for those that are maybe going through divorce, have went through divorce, maybe you're walking with somebody through divorce. So it's just a safe environment for people to come and share your story with one another if you feel led to do that. Have lots of Kleenex and comfort food and coffee, and it's just a place for us just to connect. I think a divorce is really attached to false negative feelings like shame and failure and guilt and things like that. And so it's just an evening to remind each other of the hope that's in Christ, and that there are other people out there that have been through what you have gone through, and there's no reason to feel alone in that. So just
there's
a
grace,
place.
Power, there's forgiveness, all of those things, and
yes.
so and no reason to sit at home and beat yourself up when you have people out there willing to help. Huh?
Yes, absolutely. All about building relationships, and that's going to be December 14th at Liberty Coffee Haus at 6:30. So even if you're not going through it, sometimes God puts us in a place to help somebody through it, and sometimes we just need support all the way around. So just come and...
Free event? Do they need to bring anything?
Free event, just bring yourself. We've got, like I said, the Kleenex, the comfort food, and the coffee, so you're set.
Sounds like it's set. And
yes.
Yeah, that's awesome, and I appreciate that you're tackling a subject that, like you said, can have a lot of negatives and stigmas attached to it, and so people may be embarrassed or hurting, and again, no judgment. People want to help and hear you out, and you find grace and you can find healing and all of those things. So
Yes, absolutely.
thank you. I think that's an amazing thing that you're doing, and I know Liberty Haus, they do a great job down there.
Oh, yes,
and
they're awesome.
one of our great local businesses, that you need to get out and support, because again, they're doing stuff like this and giving back, so it's really awesome. We are fast and furious today. Is there anything else that we need to discuss, talk about? I know we probably have a million different things we could get into, but for this week, we've got your divorce story again,
Yes.
Saturday, December 14th, 6:30 to 8:30 at Liberty Coffee Haus. And then we have Operation Piglet going on. We have your friends to Tells.
South Tells Rescue.
There,
Kaylin Ingram, go to their Facebook page. There's information there how to be a part of her fundraiser for building this fence for 4 dogs. It's 4 dogs that are in chains, and she just wants to help the people. And also a reminder too, I think we forget there are people behind dogs. People think dog rescue, how can you reach people through dog rescue? But every dog belongs to a human. And by opening that door and helping the dog, we get to speak just truth and life and relationship into the owner of the animal, and we can meet their needs as well. So it's really a beautiful thing, dog rescue.
No, it is, and I'll tell you guys, again, no judgment here, but sadly, Texas and Victoria, our animal counts of animals that go to shelters and don't find their way back out is, sadly, I think Texas leads the nation, is one of the top
South
states.
Texas especially.
South Texas especially. That's a statistic we don't want to lead the nation in, and sadly we do. But the only way to change that is to actively be a part of that and commit to change, commit to fixing the thing. Instead of casting judgment, instead of throwing rocks, instead of doing all that, become part of the solution. You have tons of great groups like that. There are people lined up in the wings for days wanting to help animals, give back. And again, if you reach out and say, hey, I need help, I got a dog it's more than I can handle, or a fence I don't have, or whatever. Again, we want to see that dog have a fun, healthy life, and we want to see you have that dog as a companion, and both of you enjoy the life that pet ownership brings you and the happiness that it brings you. So again, this great organization with the great event coming up, the WAG stuff, the
South Tells Rescue.
South Tells Rescue. It's a great name. I will get it eventually. South Tells Rescue. Anything you can do, reach out to myself, reach out to Miss Toya. Become part of the solution, guys. Toya, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
We will have you again because I know this is just the beginning of the things that we do and we continue to do. And again, from my household to yours, thank you for all you've always done. I mean, we have never reached out and asked you for something that you have not come through on. You sacrifice your personal time, you sacrifice your personal income, and being the wife of an LEO, I know that you guys aren't rolling in the dough, you aren't multi-millionaires out doing this, and so, but all the more so, we're even more grateful.
Well, I'm grateful for you guys
thank you.
too.
Yes, ma'am. We're a heck of a team.
Get Sprout a hug from me.
I sure will. Sprout is one of our little rescues that I couldn't get him another home. He belonged with me, awesome. And so he's my little buddy, and he's pretty awesome. So thank you, Miss Toya, for joining us, and stay tuned. We'll be back with another guest. Hey gang, we are back, and I've got another special guest. She's a favorite of mine. She does a lot of great stuff in the community. She's got several events to talk about today. And we are very welcome, very blessed to have her. And with no further ado, young lady, would you introduce yourself, please?
I'm Cynthia Staley, and I work for Golden Crescent Habitat for Humanity. Call me Cindy, though.
I'll work on it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I am the executive director. Been there about 18 years, and we have a lot going on this coming up week.
You have a lot going on, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So we're going to just kind of start. Is that okay?
Let's get going. Yeah, you got
all right.
2, 3. Let's hit it, young lady. Let's do it.
So for those of you who don't know, Habitat for Humanity builds houses for families in need, and we don't give the houses away. They have to buy the houses. So we do some basic background checks. We do, we look at their credit. We do all kinds of things. We basically underwrite a mortgage. Now it's a 0% mortgage for the homeowners, but they pay the mortgage just like anyone else does. Just like when you sell a house.
Yes, ma'am.
Do they pay the mortgage? our homeowners pay
I like
more
that.
attention. Yeah.
Skin in the game.
It's
they're
absolutely
invested.
skin
Yeah,
in the
I
game.
like
Yeah.
that. Where
Yeah.
it's not just a freebie. It's,
No,
it's
yeah,
that's
absolutely.
outstanding. Well done.
It's wonderful. We say it's a hand up, not a handout. So we're going to talk today about 3 things.
Okay.
3 things. Yeah, maybe 4, but we'll for sure cover.
You get
3.
going. You get going.
So on December the 3rd, that's Giving Tuesday, and you may have had some other people talking about it. But the reason we have Giving Tuesday is because you have Black Friday, you're out Christmas shopping. Then you have Small Business Saturday, and you're still Christmas shopping.
Yes, ma'am.
Then you have Cyber Monday, and that's pretty much you're buying for yourself. Normally, you're buying for yourself. So then we came, about 9 or 10 years ago, they came up with Giving Tuesday. So this Tuesday is actually our 25th anniversary of Habitat in the Victoria area, and it's the 20th anniversary of the Restore. So if you know about Habitat, you know we also have a Restore, and the Restore is our kind of a thrift store, but it's way more than a thrift store. We actually carry appliances, new appliances that are factory warranted, and we have all kinds of furniture. If you've done that new, I forgot the lady's name where she did all the cleaning out, and she said, "Oh, you have to."
The estate sales stuff?
No, it's a Japanese lady, but it doesn't really matter. Bottom line is, people have been cleaning out because of this book that she wrote, and they bring it to the Restore, and we sell just about everything we can get. It's amazing. We don't take clothes, and we don't take old mattresses, but anything else, we've gotten antique saddles. We get lots of antique furniture. We've gotten things as random as vet equipment. We just recently got 3 pedicure chairs new, and 2 new manicure stations. I mean, I can't tell you what we get because we get everything.
Yes, right. And are those tax deductible?
Yes, those
the
donations.
Donate?
Yep, they're tax deductible, and we give you an in-kind form, and you take it to your accountant, and it takes it off the bottom line.
Outstanding.
So it's pretty amazing.
Yes, ma'am.
So on December 2nd, we're having a 20% off sale of everything in the Restore to celebrate the 20-year anniversary.
Outstanding. I like it.
But the most important thing we're going to do on December 3rd, it's Giving Tuesday, and we have a $20,000 match. So every dollar that's donated to Golden Crescent Habitat on that day will be matched. And it's they're matched by, I hope you'll put this up at the bottom of the screen, the Chris Pickering family and the Tynert family, and then we have an anonymous family, and the 3 of their gifts combined equal the $20,000.
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing.
That is amazing. That's a lot of funds.
It's a lot of funds, and $40,000 will build a house, help us build one house. So that's exciting. So then at 7:30 in the morning on December 3rd, which is Giving Tuesday, we actually are going to have a drive-through breakfast for our volunteers. So if you volunteer with Habitat, come pick up a chicken donut. A chicken biscuit, sorry.
I was going to say,
not chicken donut.
Chicken donut.
Chicken donut, yeah.
Fast. I need to know about this, but okay.
Chicken biscuit. It's just as long as the supplies last.
Yes, ma'am.
And then starting at 8:30, we're going to frame the walls of a whole house. From 8:30 until about 1:30 or 2. Wow. And a group named Crossroads Missions out of Ohio is coming down to help us do that. It was actually sponsored by an anonymous donor, and the walls will go, once they're finished, they'll go to Refugio and we'll build a 2-1 house.
Wow.
So it's very exciting, and I hope that you'll come by and swing a hammer.
Yes.
No power tools.
Have you seen me swing a hammer though? Like,
it's okay.
I may need like a little vest and warning and a
we'll
hard
give
hat.
You we'll give you glasses, the whole 9 yards. Yeah,
Not
but
very good at that stuff.
There's no power tool, so you're not in any danger.
Right,
it's just a hammer. We actually have, I think, 40 homeschool kids are going to come out and help us build. We have, I believe, Trinity Episcopal's bringing some kids out. One of the high schools in town is bringing. Then we've got maybe another one on the hook, but I just want.
Do you still need more volunteers, or are you guys kind of set right now on that?
That's a great question, Caleb. I'm not responsible for the volunteers. I think we could probably still use a few more volunteers.
And if not, they can just, if they reach out to you and you can point them and, hey, this one we're set, but
over
upcoming things, we got you. We'll keep your name.
That's right. The other thing, though, if you support Habitat, you can just come by and write your name on a stud and write a wish or a verse for the family that's going to live in the house. And the family will actually be there around noon. At 11:30, we're going to have another ribbon cutting to celebrate the 25 years of Habitat and the 20th anniversary of the Restore. So we'll have a ribbon cutting. We actually are doing 3 of our awards at that time. Our Community Partner Award, and let me just whisper in your ear, it's KCI. So you know them.
Not too bad.
Yeah, I know. They've done a lot for us. So we got Community of the Partner of the Year, we've got our Volunteer of the Year, and Lifetime Achievement Awards. So those will all three be done at 11:30 at the ribbon cutting. So we hope that people will come by for that. It'd be lovely. Then in the afternoon, starting at 3:30, from 3:30 to 5:30, at the Restore, we've got Mrs. Claus coming in for the kiddos. So she'll be reading a book for them. They'll have some treats. They've got a scavenger hunt.
She's the one that keeps Mr. Claus in
that's
line
right.
and
That's
makes sure
right.
those deliveries go out on time and
so
all
if
that.
I were you, I'd want to take. If I were a
that's
child,
really
that's right.
things. Yes,
I'd say,
ma'am.
Mom, I need to go to the Restore at 3:30.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So this is some information on the Restore. You can, if you do your little magic.
Yeah, we'll
but
throw it
the
in there.
last thing that's going on December 3rd, anyway, from 5:30 to 7, we'll have a happy hour for our volunteers.
Okay.
And I say happy hour because there'll be maybe a few adult beverages.
Maybe a few.
Just a few. I can't
few's
speak to that.
okay. Yeah,
And
you
some
know?
hors d'oeuvres and lots of our board members will be there. We just want to say thank you to everyone. So we hope that you'll come by because you support us.
Well, yes, ma'am. And these things, it really, your whole organization, all of these events, they survive off of community support and people's generosity. And it's, that's why we wanted to have them in, guys, because we want to make sure if you're not supporting them yet that you do, because they're members of this community. They're people that God put it on their heart to serve others, to give back, to try to help, and they're part of the solution. They're part of it instead of just taking or any of these things. They're out giving and serving, and so they need us. They need our support. They need our backing, and it can be monetary. It can be your time. It can be, I'm sure whatever your talent is, they have a need for it somewhere,
Absolutely.
and yes, ma'am. And again, when you start looking and you step back and you see all the things in the community, you're crazy if you don't want to be a part of it, because you're helping people, but you're enabling people to find a better way, and so you're empowering them, and that's a huge thing to me is empowerment and letting people know that, hey, you're not a victim. And even if you are, you don't have to stay that way. You reach out for help sincerely, and it's there for you. But again, they need your help to help others. So for me personally, I want to say thank you for all that you do, because I see you guys everywhere. You always fill in the gap when it's needed, and so we're sincerely grateful. And what are the primary things you guys need if you had to cut it down to like 2 or 3 things? Is it donations? Is it monetary, furniture? Like, what are y'all's greatest needs? If you had to say, hey, I need A, B, and C more than anything else. Do you have it, or is it just kind of whatever?
So I think we would definitely say funding is probably number one, because so many unrestricted funds, because so many of the funds we get are specific to house sponsorship and to the programs that we run.
When they're earmarked, you guys honor that.
Absolutely.
And that's where it goes.
You absolutely do.
Yes,
and the deal is, just like you have to keep your lights on, we have to keep our lights on.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
that's what helps us keep the lights on, that we can continue to build. Second thing, unusually, we're about to build out of our Koinonia subdivision, so we need land.
Okay.
So if anybody's got land in town that they don't want, we would be happy to visit with them about it. The Lord's really been good to us, Caleb. We've never had to buy land. I'm sorry, we bought land one time, and it was so cheap, it was like they gave it to us.
Yes, ma'am.
But the property we're on right now, the Lack family gave that to us, and we built the street, and we've now built, it'll have 20 homes on it. I think we're up to 12. We have 8 more lots left to build. So we'll be out of that probably by the end of mid-2021. So we really need land, so we're thinking forward. And then the third thing is we need volunteers. We truly need volunteers. We need construction volunteers. If you're recently retired, or if you work for a company that gives you the skills, like you know how to use power tools and stuff, we can teach you how to build a wall if you know how to use a power tool. We can teach you how to use a power tool, but we prefer that we just need some skilled volunteers. So we would love that.
Can you take somebody like, I made a joke earlier, but I'm very sincere.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can talk a lot, I can carry stuff, but I'm not all that skilled. Like I'll miss a nail probably 3 out of 4 times and stuff like that. But you could still use somebody like me, huh?
Absolutely.
Good.
We can teach you what needs to be done. We need people that like to paint. There's always lots of painting to do when you're building houses.
My wife, do you hear that? Tiffany likes to paint, you know. She's got her hands full with our little baby Truman right now, but
that's so fun. How old is Truman?
he is about 7, 8 weeks now.
Oh
and
my
so,
goodness. Oh,
yeah, we're
that's
right in the
fabulous.
newborn phase.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know,
I gotcha.
I'm still learning how to carry a baby and like simple things,
Yeah,
and
gotcha.
not
I
very
hear
good
ya.
at it yet, but working on it.
Okay, well, as long as you're working on it. So those are the A, B, and C that we need. And I do have one more thing to talk
Fire
about.
away. Yes, ma'am.
So on Friday, December 6th of this coming week,
Yes, ma'am.
we actually are having what's called the Grand Old Christmas Show. And it's sponsored by Clean Core International, Robbie and
They
Tanny
do a lot.
Burge.
Yes,
Oh my
ma'am.
gosh. But this was here, it's been here for the last 2 or 3 years. It's amazing. It's incredibly family friendly. The tickets
Can I see that?
are, yeah, you can.
Look at that
The
great looking
tickets,
flyer.
oh, I know. The tickets are $25 and $35 a piece, and they're available at the box office or online at the Welder Center.
Featuring the Texas Piano Man, Robert Ellis, and Blue Water Highway.
Yeah, and if you didn't hear it last year, we also had him at the Crawfish Boil last year, and that Blue Water Highway, let me tell you, they're amazing. I mean, they're fabulous.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're
That's
fabulous.
awesome. Yeah, this is a great deal at the Welder Center.
So it's from 7:30 to 9:30. It sort of takes the format of an old-fashioned radio show.
Cool.
It's so amazing. But these guys are so incredibly talented. I'm telling you, the caliber of their music, you won't believe it. And people who've been to the last 2 shows, like we were selling tickets. Ticket sales opened on September 1, and we had just like this all the way through. And they kind of slowed down a few weeks ago, but we feel like it'll be a sellout again this year.
And that was a good segue. Where do they get their tickets? Have you probably already said that?
It's okay.
I'm going to say it one more time.
You can go online to the Welder Center. You
Okay.
can go online to Habitat's website, which is www.goldencrescenthabitat.org.
Okay.
And there's a link on the front page, homepage you can click on.
Gotcha.
But you can go directly to the Welder Center as well.
Gotcha.
It's just, I would really encourage you to come. It's so fun.
Yes, ma'am. And now, now's the time of season where you can get out and there's so many of these great things that not only do you get a great evening, but you're helping and you're giving back and you're serving others while selfishly getting to enjoy it and have fun yourself,
Absolutely.
And
so you could grab wood-fired pizza downtown. I don't know if I can say their name on air.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want, young lady.
You can
That's why
grab-
we do our own show
Oh,
here. We can
okay.
say
You
whatever we want.
grab
And Huvar's
pizza
is
at
their
Huvar's.
pizza's pretty awesome.
You can grab pizza at Huvar's and walk on down to the Welder Center. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's a great little combo. And
It
so,
is, and very affordable.
yeah, that's outstanding. The Grand Old Christmas Show, guys, again, December 6th at 7:30 at the Welder Center. Be there, or be square. That is the place to be. Anything else you want to say on the way out of here? I know we're going to have you back because now that you got to join us, we definitely want you coming back again every time you have an event because we want to be in your corner. What else, young lady? Anything we need to hit on the way out the door?
No, I would just encourage, as neighbors, Scripture talks a lot about loving your neighbor. And so when you think about what's happening in our community and around, Caleb, 1 in 8 families in Victoria, Texas spend more than 50% of their income on their housing, on their basic shelter. And so this is just an overarching thing for me that the Lord's really been impressing on me. I don't think we need to give stuff away. That's not what I'm saying. But we need to figure out as a community, how are we going to bring some solutions to the table on affordable housing. And when I say affordable housing, I'm talking about people who work and they have 40-hour-a-week jobs and they still are spending more than 50% of their income on housing, on shelter, basic shelter. So maybe you and I can put together a roundtable on that topic.
Because I'll tell you that's also something that I'm pretty passionate about, that I hit from a different angle, because I get very flustered with our local politicians here that, they walk out and they say, we need more affordable housing. And then in the very next breath, they walk out and they raise taxes on us. And 2 plus 2 still equals 4. And when you raise taxes, cost of living goes up, and and then it equals less affordable housing. And how you guys can't seem to grasp that you raise taxes, there's less affordable housing. Why that, because it's the very same people that raise the taxes that turn around and say, we need to do something. Well, you are doing something. You're the ones causing it, Take the boot of government off our neck and let us go out and do what we do. And there'll be a lot more generosity. But when the government's taking 20, 30, 40% of what I've got, it leaves a lot less for people to give. And so I'd love to, I know that that's only one side of the problem, but I definitely agree with you. Affordable housing, our taxes are way too dang high, and people's buying power is, and I've had people that they bought a house 7, 8, 9 years ago and they were approved into the 170s, but they wanted to be fiscal, so they bought in the 140s. Well, now they're having to sell their homes because their taxes have gone up so much. And again, the same people doing that sit around and scratch their heads. I don't understand why there's no affordable housing. Stop raising taxes. That's how. So anyway, sorry, I hijacked your cause there.
But we do need to, I'm just talking to your audience, as you think through the issues that we face as a community, we've got to do something about it, or we're not going to be able to bring new business in.
I agree, 100%.
And so Habitat's only one part of that solution.
Yes, ma'am.
But I definitely believe home ownership has got to be a huge part of that conversation.
I couldn't agree more.
As a real estate agent, I didn't even think about that, Caleb.
Yeah, no.
So we just know that we just have a lot of work to do.
We sure do, but you know what? Again, you are part of the solution. You're not just sitting there. You know, a lot of people are very content to just throw rocks from the outside and never actually be a part of it. And so I commend you on stepping into the arena and making things happen. You do a great job.
We've been talking. We'll talk to people anytime.
Outstanding.
All right. Well, thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am.
Caleb.
Thank you for being here. That was my sincere honor. And we will be back in just a second with another guest. Thank you so much. Hey, gang, we are back. And we've got another special guest. We are blessed to have so many amazing people from our community come in and spend time with us and tell us about themselves, their organizations, their events. So without further ado, I want to let our next guest introduce himself. The floor is yours, my friend.
Well, my name is Adam Daughtrey. I'm a retired Navy veteran. Did 4 tours overseas, 1 in the combat zone in Afghanistan and Kuwait. I continued on with Cigar Night For Veterans. It initially was here in Victoria. It kind of fizzled out, and I started it back up to where I wanted veterans and those who support the military and so forth to be able to come together, and they don't have to feel uncomfortable. Did they serve in the military? Did they serve in World War II? Anybody can show up as long as you support the military and you support America.
Yeah, well, as you all should. So that's Cigars For Veterans Night. Where's that located at?
That's located over at Aero Crafters. It's the last Saturday of the month. Tonight it's going to be November 29th.
So for next week.
Next month is going to be December 28th. From that point on, it's going to be the last Saturday from 6 to 9 p.m. over at Aero Crafters.
Okay, so the last Saturday of every month, and so at Aero Crafters. And again, like you said, guys, that's a great deal. You don't have to be a veteran. You don't have to, be on your way to go leave for the military or anything like that. You can just be a patriot that supports our military and come out there and shake their hand, tell them thank you, tell them you appreciate their service. And if you did serve, come stand out there with your brothers and enjoy a good cigar. Aero Crafters does a great job in the community. They support so many different events, and they selflessly open up their doors and let all these different organizations come in and do stuff. And so we're grateful to Aero Crafters for letting you guys do this. But again, last Saturday of every month, Cigar Night For Veterans. It's a cool deal. Be a part of it. Let these guys know we appreciate them, these guys and ladies. Let them know that they have our support. We're in their corner. We have their 6. Support them. Most of them are pretty fun to hang out with too, especially when you give them a cigar and a drink. The stories get to going, and it's a good time, So anything else? But I know you got some other things that we're going to roll into. Anything else you want to hammer on Cigar Night For Veterans, or just anything you want to get out?
You don't have to drink. You don't have to smoke. If you had a veteran in your family, if you're a veteran, just like you said, you don't have to be scared or be intimidated about showing up. We're there to support. And my biggest thing is, there are people coming back who have PTSD, who have TBI, and they don't want to go out into the local community. But I want to give them an environment where they feel comfortable about going, where they can feel that camaraderie that they're missing, and that structured environment that they can continue going on from the military.
Yeah, and I like that you hammered that, you don't have to come out there with, a big old cigar in your mouth. Some of us like them, some of them don't. And you don't have to come over there and throw down shots to hang out with these guys, Some people can handle shots, some people can't. I can't. So I know my weaknesses. But again, we just want the camaraderie. We just want the companionship that everybody knows we're in the same corner, and we stand on the same team, and we fight the same fight and the same mission. And so great job that you're doing on that. I sincerely appreciate it. after what we did or how we treated veterans coming back from like Vietnam and stuff like that, you know, it's so much better now, and because of people like yourself and different organizations, that if we don't take care of our veterans coming home, I don't think we'll have veterans in the future that will go take up the fight if we don't take care of our warriors, you know? And so I appreciate you for doing that. In addition to that, you also have a Toys For Tots thing is coming up that I'd like for you to kind of share with me.
Next week, we have Toys For Tots at Aero Crafters. We're going to be receiving toys. If you're coming to Aero Crafters, just drop off a toy, donate a toy if you don't mind.
New, unwrapped?
It has to be boy or girl, new or and unwrapped.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. And so, yeah, so they can take that to Aero Crafters and just let them know it's Toys For Tots for you guys.
Right.
And they'll set it aside, make sure it gets to you then, huh?
Right. And yeah, we'll turn it around, take all that, and then the point of contact in Victoria will come and pick it up, and then they'll take it to their headquarters.
Outstanding, outstanding. And then that is only one of another thing that you're doing with the Texas Fallen Project. You just told me about this, and I think this is really cool. I'd like to share this with the audience here. Yeah, go ahead. Tell us about the Texas Fallen Project.
I have a friend of mine who's a retired senior chief. He does a Texas Fallen Project. What he does is he has a wall that he goes around the state of Texas of all the soldiers, sailors, Marines, Air Force Marines that passed away post 9/11. So he does it all on his own. He only relies on his retirement, and he started the nonprofit, which is a Texas Fallen Project, to help him be able to continue on with each and every one of those soldiers' life. You know, there are continuous family members that come up to him and talk to him, pin things on the wall that was close up and personal with the individuals, and they would actually put it on the wall. And he does that on his own. And anything that we receive here with the Cigar Night for Veterans, we'll turn around and donate it back to his nonprofit. But a portion of that will stay in Victoria to help our Crossroads veterans to be able to come out and enjoy a good time. Not so much a Cigar Night for Veterans, but also being able to help veterans that are overseas, because we're possibly here in the new future, we're going to be doing the Cigar For Warriors.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and I'm working on becoming a event coordinator for them here in Victoria in the Crossroads area, as well as Old Stogie. There's a good possibility next month they're going to be a designated distribution or donation center for them as well.
That's awesome, and Old Stogie, we appreciate you guys as well. I see you out there, what you're doing, and you're doing a great job. And you know, to highlight it real quickly again on the Texas Fallen Project, you know, we have several, you know, heroes from our Crossroads area that have paid the ultimate sacrifice and didn't come home, and their families are here, and you know, that never goes away. Right. You know, that empty spot at the table is always there for those families, no matter how many years go by, no matter how long it's been. You know, that ripple effect of losing their warrior, their husband, their son, their wife, you know, whatever the case may be, it doesn't go away, you know, overnight. It doesn't go away ever. And so these type of things, you know, they bring honor to the families. They bring healing to the families. They show that, you know, you're fallen, but you're not forgotten.
Oh, absolutely.
And I've had the pleasure of getting to know several of the Gold Star families here, and I'm eternally grateful for their sacrifice, because, you know, those freedoms that we fought for, that we have, you know, we came home and so many didn't. And you know, and it's a blessing that people take up the mantle of something like the Texas Fallen Project, and that yourself and so many different organizations help to try to return honor and healing to these groups and stuff. And so Texas Fallen Project, great job. We sincerely appreciate what you're doing. And Adam, I thank you for what you do in the community as well. And, and I appreciate you reaching out. And for future events, you know, we are always here for you. We back your organization. Being a veteran myself, I love seeing the honor that you guys, you know, again, bestow upon people. And we find such camaraderie when we're in, when we serve. You know, the military is one of the most truly colorblind places I've ever seen. You know, I always tell people that, like, when you're in basic and stuff, is we only know each other in uniform. Right. I don't know anything about you until months and months down the road, and we walk out in our civilian clothes for the first time, and it's like, you're a cowboy, or I didn't know you were a goth kid, or whatever the case is, and you get the military is it's such a unique experience that it's so cool to serve on so many different levels. But one of the neatest things is, like I said, you get to know your brothers and sisters in a way that I would argue the civilian world never does, because, like I said, you get to know them, not the clothes they wear, not the person they are outside of there. You get to know them, and then you lock arms with them and you go to battle with them, and you find that your brother on either side of you or your sister is willing to lay down their lives for you, and just as you are them, and it's a bond that just most will never understand. And a lot of times when you separate, what do I do? It's hard to find that in the civilian world. It's hard to find people that even comprehend that, because most people aren't used to getting shot at together or something like that. And so, again, I don't expect everybody to get it. But that said, civilians can also just wrapping your arms around them, saying, "Hey, we love you. We appreciate you. Show up for these cigar nights, even if you're not a veteran. Like, show up and support the ones that are there." I just think it's phenomenal, and I always get long-winded on that and hammer taking care of our veterans. But like I said, I think if we don't take care of the ones we have now, we won't have them for future generations. And so, again, thank you for being part of the solution. Thank you for selflessly and using your own time, your own funds. These things take up time, and they take away from your family. They take away from all of that. And so, again, I'm grateful. Thank you to Aero Crafters for allowing it. Old Stogie. All of you guys that are part of this, it's one team, one fight. We're all together, and I sincerely appreciate it. Now that I've got long-winded and stole all our talking time here, do you have anything you want to say or highlight or on the way out that you want to make sure we're aware of, or anything like that I forgot or didn't touch on?
Well, really the only thing is like you were saying, I mean, we got to continue to support our veterans. And that when I got out of the military, I didn't know what I wanted to do as an individual, and I have PTSD. Mm-hmm. So what I want is to bring everybody's awareness, and it's not a bad thing that they have PTSD. They're healing. Mm-hmm. And what can we do to being able to heal them is being able to, like you said, wrap our arms around them and help them heal, be that crutch, be that something that we can do to help them. And that's what I want to do. That's what I want my legacy to be known for, is being there for veterans. If you need me, call me 24/7. I'm there. I'm backing you. I got your six, regardless.
And on the civilian side, like you said, be there for them and envelop them and just shower them in love and all of that. But for the veterans themselves and the ones that, like you said, that are struggling with the PTSD and all of that, would you argue, or would you say that they also need to make sure that they engage in the fight as well? And what I mean by that is it can be scary, that PTSD. It can be overwhelming, and talking to my brother and stuff about it, one of the things is he said, I had to find a time when I was willing to just kind of draw a line in the sand, and I had to attack. I had to face it head on, and there was times I struggled. There was times I fell back. But I had to make the decision I'm going to address this, and I'm going to beat this. And he said, I'll always work at it. I'll always struggle with it. But I had to make that decision to, like any other mission in life, I'm going to go at this, and I'm going to come out on the other side. So I would just encourage, and if I say anything you disagree with, let me know. But I would just encourage veterans out there that if you are struggling and you feel stigmatized because you have this PTSD or any of that, we're not here to judge. We're not here to any of those things. We're here to help. And so if you need that help, reach out. It's like he said, him, myself, any of these guys, most veterans, if you need help and you pick up that phone and say, help me, I'm struggling, I am hurting here, people are gonna be there for you. And just know that sometimes you've gotta be willing to take that first step. The love, the support, the care, the resources, there are people there that wanna help you. But we can't read minds, and we don't know. And so if you need that help, please step forward, because, again, we don't have to put your name out there. Nobody has to know who you are, but you need to know you have support, and you need to know that people are there for you and want to see you have healing. So, again, thank you, brother, and I appreciate what you're doing for vets, and any events you guys ever have, if we can be a part of it, you give us a head up, and we always have your six, and we support your mission. And I thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. We've got one more guest today, and we'll be wrapping it up, but we'll be right back. Hey gang, we are back with our final guest today, and I'm blessed to have this gentleman in. He's a friend of mine. He does a lot of great stuff. He's a fellow veteran. He's got a cool ringtone on his phone, all of that stuff. And so very happy to have him here. Without further ado, I will let my friend introduce himself to the world. On that note, the floor is yours, brother.
All right, my apologies for not having my ringer turned off.
If that's the worst that happens to us today, we'll make it, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me, Caleb.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you calling me and asking me to come on the show and share my heart about the things that I'm involved with here in Victoria
Which
since
is a lot
I've
of stuff.
moved back
You wear
home.
quite a few hats, my friend.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to have you come in and talk about it.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I moved to Victoria, I think, in 1988. Unfortunately, my mother passed away, and I had an aunt here, and I moved in with her and my cousins, and went to Stroman. And I was just welcome to the community at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of good people I went to school with were like, "Hey, man, nice to meet you. Glad you're here." You know, stuff like that, and started hanging out with some really good people. And when I was 17, I raised my hand, took my first oath of enlistment for the Army National Guard right here in the unit in Victoria. Served there for 7.5 years before I finally got the itch to go active duty. I couldn't go right away because I'd actually dropped out of school, got my GED.
Okay.
So that was a challenge for me, but I used the GI Bill to kind of get me ahead.
Overcome
to
and
overcome
come
that.
back, yeah.
That's right. And I got enough college and finally went active duty. I joined the Navy at that point. Served 9 years with the Navy, switched back over to the Army, regular Army, I got accepted into a program, warrant officer program from the Navy directly, and I served another almost 9 years, I think it was.
So I got to ask, you did Navy and Army and National Guard. What was the favorite?
The most fun I had was probably in the Navy, absolutely.
I was going to say, you know, my little brother, as we talked previously, you know, he
was a good
he was
time.
a SEAL for about 10.5 years out there, and he may or may not have been a little rowdy at some points, but he did a great job. And as we discussed, I was Air Force, and you guys like to pick on us for whatever reason, you know. But no, it works out. And thank you for your service. You know, you served quite a bit, and you didn't let that in when you came home. You chose to continue to try to further the mission by supporting veterans and stuff. And
Absolutely.
I'll let you talk about a little bit. You work out at the, well, why don't you just tell us?
Yeah, so,
go ahead.
you know, that heart of service we learned that we get from the military carries over, like, what am I going to do now? Well, I found the American Legion through, you all know him, Colonel Mike Petros.
Yes, sir.
He invited me out to a steak night one night, and I came out, and I was like, man, this is like going to grandma's house, and all your cousins are there, and everybody's just family. Communal dining, and the camaraderie was just incredible. And I ended up joining from there. Ended up becoming commander of the post pretty quickly. They liked me, I guess.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I was like, hey, whatever you
Yeah.
want me to do, we want you to be commander. I'm like, sure.
quick. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
all right, I got you. So did that for a couple of years. Elected me twice. I guess they liked what I was doing. Didn't want me to see me go, but I wanted to kind of let somebody else come in and have the opportunity to serve and learn in that capacity. And opened me up to go on and do other things. Well, I immediately got picked up as district zone commander. Wasn't looking for it, but they asked me. I said, well, okay. And so I got 7 other posts that I'm supposed to kind of look over and help and be a liaison to the district commander and things like that. So there's so many things.
Just on a side
we would
note,
run out of time.
Just so you know, on a side note though, when I was kind of putting together who was going to come talk and stuff, and your name was mentioned to me several times in the fondest of terms. They really appreciate what you do. They appreciate, you know, what you bring to the table and how you help and your passion for it. And it's not unnoticed, you know. And so I just wanted to let you know, you know, one veteran to another, but it's the endorsement of your peers. It's the fellow guys that when I talked to him that lifted you up and let me know that he's solid, you know, like, you know, I knew it for myself, but when you hear it from others and you hear it from our community, it tends to mean the most. And I just wanted to let you know that they appreciate what you're doing. They appreciate the extra burden that you take upon yourself to help others. And you know, because even those things like those steak nights and stuff, like, there's a lot of work behind the scenes to make all that happen. It's not just you're going up there to high five and party and all that kind of stuff at all. I mean, this is work in it. And so I just wanted you to know that you're appreciated, and they are very grateful for what you do.
Whoever said that, and you guys and gals out there, I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir, and it was very sincere, and they meant it. And on that'll kind of segue us in. One of the things that the American Legion does and does so well that you briefly touched on was steak night, and I believe you guys have one coming up this week. And tell us a little bit about what is steak night and what is this particular one, the mission that this one is going to accomplish and serve.
Well, thanks for asking about that. We've been doing steak night long before before I ever joined the Legion here, and it's the first Friday of every month. Some of the military branches you may remember have, the tradition, first Fridays, and the commander takes you to go have a steak and a beer or whatever. And so it's kind of that concept that they adopted. And this particular steak night, last year I introduced, Toys For Tots boxes at the entryway when we had steak night. I didn't really bite off a whole lot on that because Toys For Tots is everywhere. But this year, the idea was to bring a new unwrapped toy, about $15, $20 value, whatever, in that range. And we're going to give you the steak dinner. Mm-hmm. The Legion's going to pay for that. You come bring that toy, you're going to get the dinner.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
And that's going to be for kids in the Crossroads area?
Absolutely. That's our local Toys For Tots contribution. Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yes,
so you can have a good steak, hang out with veterans. Great steak. Hang out with veterans, and get back to Toys For Tots.
Absolutely. You don't have to be a veteran to come to steak.
That was going to be my next question.
It's open.
Okay, good. And so if somebody they weren't a veteran, but they want to come in and support the mission and support what you guys do and have a great steak, they can do that.
Absolutely.
Outstanding. And again, guys, don't feel like when you walk in, and just because you're not a veteran, that you're going to get the stink eye or get cold shoulder or anything like that, because what you will find is one of the most welcoming groups on planet Earth. Absolutely. When you walk in, it'll probably be a contest to see who can get to you first, who can go over and hug your neck first, who can tell you thank you for coming, tell you thank you for supporting them. It is a welcoming environment. You don't have to feel awkward going. You don't have to feel weird. You just need to get over there and participate. I'm sure you guys, like most of the organizations, you need people, you need volunteers, you need support, you need all that kind of stuff. Right. And real quickly, what are some of the main needs of the American Legion? If I can't make it to steak night, but I want to support what you're doing, support your cause, what are some of the things that you guys kind of need in a nutshell, or
sure.
Just along those lines?
Can I tell a little backstory on the Legion first, if we got time? So this year is the 100th anniversary of the American Legion.
Wow.
It was formed right after 1919 in France, Paris, France, after their armistice. And it was the nation's first veteran service organization, wartime, organization. And I didn't understand that. I always thought the American Legion was, that's where all the guys go that can't join the VFW.
That's kind of what I was.
That's the false perception.
Yes, sir.
That's a false perception. And I've learned the error of my ways in that. And so it was the first wartime organization. Long story short of that, coming back now to 100 years later, there were dates that weren't combat dates, where there were veterans that weren't eligible to join because they weren't during those times of armed conflict.
Yes, sir.
So this past year, Congress passed, and we have to go through Congress to do this because it's a national, congressionally sanctioned organization.
Yes, sir.
And they did the American Legion for All Act, which opened up the aperture for those other folks. And I've called some of them that had told me before, hey, I can't join because, hey, come join now. We're here, we're ready for you. We wanted you before, but we couldn't. It's not our fault. It was a national thing, so it's been changed. So we're starting to bring them in too. One of the biggest things that the American Legion does from this post perspective for this community is Boys and Girls State. Okay. And that's where we take about a dozen boys and a dozen girls and we send them up to Austin and they learn government. How does government work? How do you run a campaign? It's very condensed.
I donated to this.
Yes, you did.
Yes, now that you spent time, I forgot about that. Yes, sir.
So that's how we create the next generation of new great Americans. They come back so excited. They're kind of apprehensive going up, like leaving home maybe for the first time and living in a dormitory environment. And this really opens their eyes, and they come back and share that with their peers. Not everybody gets a chance to go to Boys and Girls State, but they come back and share it with their peers, and they get their peers excited about, I can actually have a voice. This is how this works.
Yeah, and that's, you hit something right there that people have a voice and they need to exercise it, and a lot of times they don't, and they're confused on where to go, and they don't understand it, and a lot of that stuff, when we're younger, you're not taught those things, and for all the schooling that we do, there's so much that we ignore. You don't know how to change a tire, you don't know about credit, you don't know much about politics, and it's kind of a rough deal. So I think that's amazing what you guys are doing, and when you started talking, I remembered because when it came up last time, I was like, I want to donate to that because it was a cool deal, and so that's awesome. And in addition to the 10 million things that you have going on there and all the different hats you're wearing, the American Legion, Steak Night, all these different things, you're also pretty busy in your private life and in your personal life giving back or preparing to try to give back and serve. And to just kind of cut to the chase a little bit here, boom, you are also running for County Commissioner of Precinct 3, which, I will always encourage people to, if you have a voice, if you want to serve, if you want to do it. You may win, you may not. But be part of it, and you know, we're going to talk later, and we're going to get into this a little bit more. But you know, in a few minutes, what kind of made you want to you know, obviously you served this community and the Crossroads and veterans, and what kind of made you want to take this next step and put yourself out there and really elevate yourself to a local leadership position?
Well, you know, as you know, we're going to talk more later in depth, but the basic summary is, I have a heart to serve.
Yes, sir.
And at the local level, local community, local politics, if you will, it encompasses the word politics. Unfortunately, politics gets a negative connotation, but politics is a positive thing too, because at the local level, that's where your voice can be heard. Your voice can have an effect on your life here.
Absolutely.
You know, your quality of life, you know, how things affect you. It's not just about roads and bridges. There's a lot of things that happen at Commissioner's Court that affect your life directly and indirectly with taxes and other things. You know, as you said, we'll talk more about that later. But that's where your elected representative for the county, not just your city council, but at a larger scale at the county level, can be your voice. Be available to hear your concerns and your recommendations. I'm not going to have all the answers. I need the people's voice. I want to be the voice for those people and how we can move ahead better, how we can be a better community as a whole.
Well, I think that is a brilliant point that you make about local elections, local politicians, local, you know, all of that, because everybody's so concerned all the time with what the president is doing or what, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of levels that has to come down before, yes, sir, before it gets down to your everyday life, you know, and the most immediate thing that will influence your day-to-day quicker than anything else are the local politics, are these local elections. They carry weight and they have consequences, good or bad, depending on who you put in there. And you know, one of the things, I've seen some slight improvement in Victoria, but we don't have huge voting numbers. We don't, you know, where it counts the most, there's not a ton of people that participate in the process. And then, you know, people get mad and they you know, everybody's mad if, you know, things go this way or go that way, but yet they never step out and become a part of it, and they don't go to the voting booths, and they don't take the time to educate themselves. And sadly, I feel like a lot of people are willfully ignorant to stuff. And, you know, the first thing I always hear is, well, I hate politics. I hate politics. I don't wake up like, I love politics either, but this you know, this controls your life. It controls or not controls your life, but it influences your life. And a lot of things that are made at the local level will affect your life and your taxes and your bottom line and your household more than any decision the president makes, more than any of those things. And so, you know, you need to be a part of it. And you know, asking those questions and letting people know that are running for office, hey, this is what I feel, this is what I think. Talk to them, get to know them, and you know, especially on the local level, it's your neighbor, it's your friend. It's, you know, we were friends prior to this, and now you're running, and so it's, you know, and it's a whole nother level of support that you need. But it's like you said, you don't know all the answers, but you want to hear from your community, and that's what these local positions do. Is they give a voice to our community, but if people aren't talking to you, you know, you don't know what to say, and so
you gotta be approachable.
Absolutely, and you always have been, and you know, and I commend you on that, and I commend you for the fact that you see a need there, and you toss your hat in the ring, and it can go good, it can go bad. There will be positive, there will be negative, but I thank you for putting your neck out on the line, and you know, because with all the good, there will come negative too, and so that's one of the things that I never really understood about, you know, politics in general. It's okay, you know, we may have different stances, but why do we need to destroy each other in the process to get to the finish line, you know? And so I thank you, and we will have, you know, coming up, we will have some more time to sit down, and I didn't want to shortchange anything, and I didn't want to have to rush past anything, because I think it's important to hear all of his ideas and what he brings to the table, and what he wants to do, you know, and what he hopes to accomplish. And so we will be hearing more from him along those lines, especially as the election gets a little bit closer. But regardless, win, lose, anything, I want to sincerely thank you for putting yourself out there and doing it. And then in addition to everything else that you do, because long before you considered that, you were still busy serving and giving back. And so I'm grateful for that in the community. Now that I've kind of hijacked everything and talked a lot, do you have anything you'd like to get out, you know, whether about the American Legion Steak Night, your campaign quickly. Is there anything you'd like to say on the way out the door to just kind of, let the public know before we say goodbye here?
So again, December 6th, that
Yes,
evening,
sir.
come on, steak night. December 7th, the next morning is Pearl Harbor Day. We'll be out there at the flag in front of the courthouse around 7:30. At 7:46 is when the first bomb hit.
Okay.
So we'll drop the flag to half-mast. Whoever's there will probably go to Halipaskis and have breakfast afterwards, things like that. Will be a great time that night. It's the parade. We'll be in the parade, so look for our float.
Okay. Yes, sir.
The 14th, the 8th, December 8th, Quill Creek. I'll be at the Volunteer Fire Department.
Okay.
There for a meet and greet, 1:30 to 3. Come on by.
Been out there to that crew.
Come out.
It's a good group of guys.
it's a good
are
peeps.
guys and ladies. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
It's a good group out there, and I've a few years ago I went and talked to all them too, and they'll keep you honest. They'll keep you on your feet. It's a good crew out there. The Quill Creek Volunteer Fire Department. They do a great job, and so my friend, thank you. Thank you sincerely. I appreciate what you do, and so we got the events the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th. So come to any of those. Cigar night or steak night on the 6th. The 7th was Pearl Harbor in the morning, and then the 8th was the Volunteer Fire Department in Quill Creek. Good
It's
deal.
all on my Facebook page.
Which is?
James Kurth for County Commissioner, Precinct 3.
Okay.
And you can find me off just James Kurth Jr. and link to it or whatever, or go to my website, jameswkurthjr.com.
Good deal. Again, guys, thank you for tuning in. Caleb Shaw, Shaw Realty, my friend James Kurth. Thank you for what you do in the community. This is News and Events with Caleb Shaw, Homes for Heroes. If you want to be in on these shows, please reach out, get to me so we can get you scheduled. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week, gang.